What's up, my fellow A-plusers? It is I, your host, Adam Perez, coming back once again with a brand new video today, as I wanted to talk a little bit about Zenkaiger with you guys, as I've had a lot of thoughts going on in my head, especially ever since episode number 7 and the introduction of both Stacasear and Twokaiser. I've really enjoyed how the writers of this show have certainly made them very complex characters, very sort of family drama driven, if you will, and putting these two characters against somebody like, say, a Kaito, who is already that sort of empathetic sort of character, seeing a lot of the similar dynamics between all three of these, yet also differences as well, has been really intriguing to me, to certainly say the least. And I think what also surprised me so far, only 10 episodes in, is the fact that we are only 10 episodes in, and we've been introduced to so many characters and so many different storylines for these characters here that I am kind of curious as to what the future definitely holds for a lot of them, certainly going forward. It feels as though with 40-something episodes probably left, maybe 35 to 40, who knows, there's probably a lot more story to certainly tell. And if you ask me, maybe some swerves coming along the way. And that is one of the reasons why I put the question, can we expect Stacasear and Twokaiser to sort of switch alliances in here, right? We've been introduced to Stacasear as not necessarily officially a part of the Toji Tendo, but working along with them, right? Twokaiser, on the other hand, very much his own individual character, to certainly say the least, but we've definitely seen him working alongside the Zenkaiger, despite some of the negative comments and thoughts that he certainly has had in regards to the Zenkaigers, right? So it definitely feels as though maybe there's something brewing, maybe some sort of swerves that are certainly coming. I just know that there's a lot more to certainly go with this Super Sentai season, so I'm kind of curious to see what we could certainly be looking forward to. So let's talk about this here just for a second. Both meetings with Twokaiser and Stacy certainly have been rough, to say the least, especially when it comes to somebody like Kaito. All certainly different mindsets, but they all have their fair share of family drama and problems, right? You got Stacy with the shitty dad and the dead mom, unfortunately. Twokaiser with his brothers cursed, trying to get them back at all costs. Kaito with his family missing, right? So there's a family dynamic that's associated with all these three characters that Kaito has certainly shown empathy towards when it comes to all three of them. So the fact that we get this, though, does make me feel that perhaps a swerve actually is coming. So this is my reasoning as to perhaps why I think Stacasear and Twokaiser may in fact switch alliances at some point in time in this season. So with Stacy, Stacy, it doesn't seem as though this guy has anything good in his life, to certainly say the least. I really enjoyed his conversation with Kaito about his parents, really trying to make Kaito feel that pain and resentment that Stacy has towards Barashitara is the same sort of resentment that he tries to build Kaito to have against his family, right? The idea of, how do you know your parents went missing? How do you know that they didn't just up and leave you, sort of thing, right? And just have you sort of live and try and muster things on your own, if you will. Stacy clearly doesn't have the best upbringing. His mom being like a wife 893 to Barashitara, clearly nobody really cared that much about her outside of Stacy. He even references the idea that she could be in a ditch somewhere for all he certainly knows, right? You see the animosity between him and Barashitara immediately in here, him having nothing to do with his father, right? His father wanting to come in, maybe help him out a little bit, give him some assistance. Stacy's like, get the F out of here, bro. Wants nothing to do with him. The idea of he's even mentioned the idea that when it comes to the Toji Tendo, that there's no alliance there, that he's simply just there to really get the job done, if you will. We've seen him hanging out with Ijiroot for the most part, but there doesn't seem to be anything that's keeping him within the Toji Tendo. And just based off of Stacy's personality set, the idea of how I feel like sometimes Kaito can kind of get to him, but then Stacy just kind of stops that train of thought and gets back to just wanting to hate on Kaito, right? Even resenting him even further, making it a little bit more personal is the last thing that Stacy wind up saying to Kaito. But because of the fact that this is sort of a family issue that I think Kaito can understand based off of the fact that he doesn't have his family around. There is a part of me that thinks that Kaito can, I don't want to say easily, but can eventually get to Stacy and understand that there's more value for him in his own life than what he certainly has given it so far. This ability to maybe get that revenge or get that payback, if you will, on Barashitara might be extremely compelling to somebody like Stacasear. And if you have somebody like Kaito, who I feel like can really present his thoughts and his ideas rather clearly, I feel like if he can actually have a solid conversation with Stacasear at some particular point in time, he may be able to convince him to actually come over to their side and take out the Toji Tendo with their assistance, if you will. I mean, a lot of his costumes are based off of past Super Sentai seasons in the Battle Fever J, if I'm not mistaken. Same thing goes with his mecha as well. I think that would be a really great connection for him to certainly make with the Zenkaiger, certainly going forward. So there is a part of me that feels like when it comes to Stacasear, if there's anybody vulnerable enough, just emotion-wise, to go ahead and flip his alliance or really flip his focus and aim that frustration not towards Kaito but towards the people that deserve it in regards to his father and the Toji Tendo, I do think it's Kaito that can go ahead and maybe bring Stacasear over to the Zenkaiger side. So I'm really interested to certainly say the least. Now, when it comes to Twokaiser, on the other hand, for me, when it comes to Gold Rangers, Silver Rangers, right, we just automatically accustom them to the additional Sixth Ranger or the good guy, to the additional member of this group that's going to be attached to our heroes, if you will. But based off of just how unique this season has turned itself out to be already, right? 1 human leader, 4 robots. I feel as though this really gives sort of our Zenkaiger and writing team, I should say, the opportunity to do things just slightly differently if they certainly want to. Now, we all know that we've seen our fair share of great pirates in the Gokaigers from their 35th anniversary, and now we're being introduced to pirates once again. And unfortunately for us, when it does come to pirates, they're not all as friendly or as welcoming, to certainly say the least, as our Gokaigers. Now, there are some really great qualities to Zox and Flint Goldtweaker that we've certainly seen over the past couple of episodes, but let's not make any mistakes here and understand that we also have seen their pirate side of things as well, right? The idea of taking what we want when we want, and really no care for authority. I mean, they literally pulled guns out on our Zenkaigers, robbed the candy cafe, if you will. Now, while they certainly are at least keeping up with their promises that they made to Kaito, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do everything that this man certainly needs them to do. And just based off of the casual conversation that Zox and Flint wind up having at the end of episode 10, Flint recommending the idea that they just take them out now. Zox open to the idea of keeping them around for a little bit until it is time for them to go ahead and take them out. And we've even seen Barashitara himself under the assumption that Twokaiser at some point in time will either turn on our Zenkaigers or will at least have some sort of clash at some particular point in time. So when it comes to Twokaiser, I feel like emotionally this guy is just very volatile. I almost feel like he just doesn't have any sort of allegiances. I think his allegiances feel very much based off of what accommodates him and what works best for him and his family. Based off of the idea here that, yes, they have infiltrated the Toji Tendo before, that I don't necessarily think that means that they look at them 100% as evil. The idea that they are on this mission to go ahead and try and destroy Esthetopia so they can go back and save their brothers, their twin brothers, you quickly see from episode 10 just what that means to them, what family means to them, right? Even the previous episode, in episode 9, when we saw Flint in trouble, it was in fact Zox who took it rather personally, right? Completely stopped his battle with Kaito and changed his focus to whatever the world was that he had to go ahead and take care of, to go ahead and save his sister at the end of the day. And you see just his anger that boils over, the fist that balls up before he goes ahead and kicks somebody's ass, sort of thing, right? So family is very important to him. And I feel like maybe because of the fact that we have have so many episodes left to go. I don't know how long it's going to take Twokaiser to go ahead and solve this mystery of returning his brothers back to normal, but something tells me that if the Toji Tendo were to make a really good deal with him or offer him something in an attempt to help him get his brothers back, whether that be take out the Zenkaigers or whatever the case may be, it would not surprise me if Twokaiser was in fact to go ahead and take up that offer and kind of switch allegiances, because it feels very much like Twokaiser and Flint might be a little bit more selfish in regards to wanting to protect their family and do whatever the case may be. And we've already seen their disregard for humanity as it is, very centralized and focused on what their goal certainly is. So, based off of just how he's treated Kaito, the idea of how they look at the Zenkaigers, their disregard for humanity, their focus on pretty much doing whatever it takes to protect their family. I think if Barashitara and Bokawas really play their cards right, they could maybe wind up gaining an alliance with Twokaiser to go ahead and take out the Zenkaigers at some particular point in time. Now, whether or not these alliances last the entirety of this season, I'm not quite sure, but it would definitely make for a really fascinating swerve and give us something that I don't believe we've seen before in regards to a gold or silver Evil Ranger, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, again, there's plenty of Super Sentai seasons that I have not watched for myself. So if there have been gold and silver Evil Rangers, I definitely would absolutely love to know which season that certainly was. So for me, when I look at these three compelling characters, again, I love what the writers are certainly doing by adding all this family drama and allowing them all to kind of focus around the centralized character in Kaito. I feel like Kaito has a better chance of bringing Stacasear over to their side than getting somebody like Zox Goldtweaker to conform to Zenkaigers and wind up forming up with them as part of the team. So I do feel we might get a swerve and a changing of alliances here, but again, this is just my theory and speculation, but I kind of curious to know what you guys think. By the end of Super Sentai, where do you think Stacasear is going to be standing along with Twokaiser? I definitely want to go ahead and know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, but I'm just thrilled that Zenkaiger has become so thrilling to me in regards to some of the storylines that they've tapped into, especially since episode number 7. So plenty more to go, and I'm sure plenty more revelations to certainly happen here. But listen, guys, if you haven't checked out some of our reviews, please go ahead and do so. We definitely have them over on our YouTube page. I may wind up doing more theory and speculation videos like this as the season certainly continues, especially if these characters continue to be as interesting as they certainly have been so far. But at the end of the day, guys, listen, these are just my A+ opinions, but I also always want to know yours, so let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, guys, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and until next time, keep it A+. Full throttle, non-stop. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.